From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons Lalate with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll be going over that $3.5 trillion stimulus package that just passed the U.S. Senate. Step one, we'll be going over why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks and how many checks are at issue. Then we cut to the recon. Done, deal, passed. I'll be going over step two of what's going on next on the reconciliation process. Then we cut to the two-path process, recon and bipartisan. We'll be going over what they're doing next over the next few days and everything across the board. Then we cut to the incredible great news about this stimulus has raised your benefits up a lifetime. And then we cut to the big money that viewers are getting upwards of $50,000 for rent and utilities and more. Single individuals, I'll show you how you get to this big money. It's a big afternoon. It's a big day with a lot of breaking news as the recon has passed. Step one, here we go. This is Afternoons LA. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? And I hope you're having a beautiful day across the board. Just passed. Your recon has just passed the Senate, next stop the House. All the incredible, exciting details in this recording. But how are you? Hope the weather is good. It has been spectacular here in Southern California. Gorgeous at night, cool during the day, 70s in the daytime, and then at night along the coast. And then at night in the mid to low 50s. Just spectacular. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, we'll be going over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we got to the recon. Done deal. Passed. I told you it was a done deal. I told you the vote was going to be quick and easy. It was. I'll go over what happened overnight. Then we cut to the two-path process, the recon and the bipartisan, and what's happening next. I'll explain that voting detail as well. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. That's just a few days away as we go into September, SSI, SSDI, VA, and more. And then we turn to this, as one viewer get upwards of $50,000. As a Purple Hawk member of this channel, $50,000 for rent, utilities, SNAP, and more. That's Mark. I'll tell you how you can be the next Mark. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoon. Coming up next is Evenings Lalate at 5 o'clock and then Sirloin at 8 o'clock. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. Never forget to like the video. And also consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, so you can get all this big money across the board. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto, currently playing on the channel. All right, here we go. Four stimulus checks, Senate versus House, House versus Senate. Let's go over all the details you need to know as we go into this big afternoon. The House plan provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senate is July to December. Let's go over the House plan. $1,000 after the first month. Senate unknown monthly, but word on the street is the Senate would pay you this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Well, the pandemic is absolutely changing the whole scope of everything left and right. We learned this morning as Southwest Airlines announced that it's giving special guidance that its earnings for fall 2021 will be weak because of the pandemic raging out of control. As cities and counties nationwide try to institute a vaccine mandate, there will be a vaccine mandate for United Airlines and several other airlines as well. This is because Delta is now out of control. Pandemic plus 1 year, where the House bill would likely pay the full extent of that, which is more than 12 checks, which is more from the House than $13,000. So compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House of Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. And if you don't have an opinion, understand that the House bill starts at the time in which it becomes law. So if the Senate plan is delayed for a few weeks, then you don't. Then you miss those months. There you go. Who gets these forced stimulus checks? Democrats represent, you do. Single individual, 75,000 or less. Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check. If you got a third, you get a fourth, they say. Married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check, double it. Family four, Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check. The forced stimulus check is not taxable. It's not income. And the forced stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone, including adult dependents. The forced stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you're at the Dodgers game and you see the wave coming by and then you go, hey, and then go back down. And then you look to the left and you say, oh, there's the check, but it didn't stand up when the wave came around. Hey, check, how are you? How come you didn't stand up? Rude check. No, it's not a rude check. It's a Giants fan. It's also not a waivable check. And there you go. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over the recon. Done deal. Passed. I told you it was a done deal. I've been saying that line for about a week and a half. Wasn't I? Done deal? Well, it's passed. Passed with a capital SSED. Exclamation point. Passed the Senate overnight. Exciting, great news. I'll go over what's happening next for your recon. Then we cut to the incredible great details about the two-path process, recon and bipartisan. They're moving on to the next step. What's next step? I'll have all the details and more. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which is just a few days away. So we have September's knocking on our door. Don't answer it unless it's free pizza. Knock, knock. And there we go. But first, let's get some money because, boy, this is what you need. Bills need to be paid. Bills need to be taken care of, and that's what we're doing. And so let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready. I'm going to get you some rent, some utilities, some internet, some Snap, and some homeowners utilities. If you've not gotten from this channel, this is your day. If you have gotten one item, I'm going to get you other sums of items. And if you try to get the items, I'm going to get you more. So get a pen and paper ready. When we talk about rent, a couple of weeks ago, I said I can get you 4 to 6 months of rent, about $5,000. Well, I undervalued that just a little bit. I can get you a little bit more than $5,000. How much more than $5,000 can I get you? $27,000. Congratulations, Elizabeth. Mark got $25,000 for rent. Nancy got $24,000 for rent. Richard, $22,000. And Nisi, $20,000. The success stories continue to roll in daily. Pamela got $12,000 for rent. Carla got money for utilities and Snap. Tiffany got $13,000 for rent, Snap, and also utilities. Randy got $6,000 for rent and also got utilities. Jennifer got $5,000 for rent and other items, and Cecilia got some money for heat. When we talk about utilities, that is food, that is water, gas, electric, things like that. I said I can get you $300 for utilities. Guess how much I'm getting viewers now? Bam! Wow! $7,000 for Nancy for utilities. Mark, $6,500 for utilities. Angela, $5,000 for utilities. And then when we talk about Snap, it refers to money for food. A lot of people never heard of Snap until they found this channel, and now they're getting Snap. And how much annualized are viewers getting? Initially, viewers were getting $5,000 to $6,000 annualized on this channel for Snap, and then this happened. Are you ready? Drum roll. Oh my goodness, Loie. Congratulations. Wow, $18,000? Incredible. John, $10,000 to $12,000 for Snap for him. Nancy, $5,000. Oh, I'm so proud of you all. And then finally, people who got multiple sums of money. Are you ready for this? Can I get some drum roll? Can I get some excitement? Here we go. Ready? Bam. Oh my goodness. Nancy, $32,000 for rent and utilities and Snap. Nisi, $23,000 for rent, utilities and Snap. And Mark, $32,000 for 2 items. Well, over 7 days of recording, I said to Mark on camera, you got 2 items. How about going and getting the third? And he heard me. He heard me, and I said, go get Snap. You haven't gotten Snap. Maybe you can get a couple thousand out of Snap. That'll bring your grand total at $35,000. I said, maybe $40,000. Maybe you get $8,000 of Snap. Well, Mark went back and got some Snap. He heard my recordings. That's Purple Power at its very best. Pushing, and go getting it. So he got some money for Snap. How much do you think he got? Do you think he got $8,000 to bring him to $40,000 total, grand total? Let's see how much he got. Wow, $19,000 for Snap, Mark. My goodness, I'm so proud of you. $19,000 for Snap, bringing Mark's grand total to $50,000. He tells me he's telling his neighbors day in, day out to come and watch this kid. People are getting massive sums of money. His neighbors, two of them got $20,000. What's going on? This is Lalate, America's only recording channel like this in the country. In spring of last year, people's EIDL loans and grants were not coming, so I singularly came in and got $25 million of EIDL loans approved. I was doing them off camera, on camera, getting about 10 applications a day approved, upwards of $150,000 a pop. Then in fall of 2020, second stimulus is not coming, so I got viewers money for rent, $250,000 of it. Family of four out of Boston, Tyrone, got $15,000 of rent, paid all his rent to the spring. Now we're doing bigger numbers than I've ever seen in the history of this channel. I think we could be doing $250,000 every few days on this channel. It's just astronomical. We could certainly be into the millions of dollars at the moment we've gotten for this channel. So let's go over all the detail. Get a pen and paper ready. I want you to get this big money for you right now. You're going to get some rent, utilities, internet, Snap, mortgage assistance, and more. I'm going to show you different places with different eligibility. I want you to try to get the money. Don't sit back and just have people do it for you. I want you to try to do it because that's generally where the big success comes in. Each place has different eligibility. Reach out to each, and until you get a no, if you get a no, go out to the next. They have different pots of money. Also, listen to the keywords I say during this recording. Those keywords apparently help people get approved. Are you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's fan club. Yeah, they don't know that. They also don't know Giant fans. I'm just kidding. And there you go. Congratulations to everyone who got money for rent and utilities. Post your success stories in the live chat right now if you got money for rent and utilities. The next pot of the money, it's exciting, is money for Snap. Oh, boy. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. And Louie got $18,000 for this. John $10,000 to $12,000, and Mark $19,000. What's Snap? Snap is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to them. How much does it pay? A lot. A family of four out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Whoa! Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15%. So go get it. And Snap's eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. And if you got to Snap or utility, and Snap, post in the live chat right now. And boy, we're killing it. We're only at 12 minutes of this video. We've got to $27,000 for rent. We've got to $18,000 for Snap. We've got to $9,000 for utilities, and we're just getting started. It's time now to get that money coming back from your state due to overpayment and unemployment benefits. Boy, one viewer got $3,000 for this, another viewer got $5,000. And this is where they overpaid your benefits due to computer error, then asked it to be returned back to you, and then the federal government has now ordered return back to you. Where is it going to land? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah, contact your state. Say, hi, state. Where's that check due to overpayment and a computer error? And can you track it with a computer that's actually turned on this time? It sort of helps. And finally, the refund check coming back from IRS off that 2020 tax return. This is incredible great news. So Margaret got it, Todd got it, Michael got it. Where is it landing? It's landing by direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. And guess what, Mitch? It's a waivable check. I know that just makes your hair curl on end, whatever amount of hair you still have. But it's a waivable check, and the average check has been about $1,265. Each wave is a different week. Each wave has a paper check and a mail and a direct deposit, so go get it. But first, here's a personal message. If you're on the live chat and you've not posted your success stories for rent, utilities, Snap, or elsewhere, please do. Because the spirit of this channel is me helping you. And you helping others. That's what we do here. And when you help others, it really, really inspires them. When you post your success stories in the live chat, three wonderful things happen. Number one, you inspire other people to go get those sums of money because they'll see you getting utilities and realize, wait a second, I have a utility bill. I need my utility bill paid. So then they realize Nancy got $7,000. Maybe I'll get my utilities paid. And then some people may have never heard of Snap until they see Louis get $18,000 for Snap and say, he's getting $18,000 of his food paid for by the federal government. I should get that as well. It inspires people. Number two, When people saw Art Sullivan and Nisi get 3 items, then they realized that they should get 3 items, even if they only had gotten 1. So that inspired Nancy to go get 3 items. It inspired me to tell Mark at 2 items, go get your 3rd, and Mark got that 3rd. Bam, right there he goes. And then finally it updates us about the numbers. All right, let's cut back to those unemployment benefits. Where is it landing? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Which month? This month. And can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. And then it will 70% of the time reveal stuff you absolutely wish you never heard of. It'll reveal when Ron Portman was on Dancing with the Stars, did he dance with a star or did the star run away from him? And then finally it'll reveal the refund check you came back from IRS. Can we top that? We can. Passed. I mean, really, we really can't top it. Passed. Your 4th stimulus recon has passed the Senate on step 1. The reconciliation procedural has passed the U.S. Senate overnight. I had told you this was a done deal, and away we go. This is incredible, great news. And how did they achieve this? They achieved this by taking the roads and bridges out of the recon. And by taking the roads and bridges out of the recon, it made both the recon and now the bipartisan passable. The roads and bridges put into something called the bipartisan. So let's go over how both of them now passed the Senate. The higher the price tag was on the reconciliation bill beforehand, the harder it was to pass. There you go. This is confirmation from conservative publication op-ed. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. But the recon also made the bipartisan passable, and they have now all passed within a matter of just a few days in the Senate. Incredible, great news. Well, how did they do this? The progressives, once they shrunk the recon, were able to build it back up to a big new number, and that big new number is $3.5 trillion. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. And they got a big price tag that they wanted, and they signed off on it overnight. Representative Ilhan Omar said we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, $3.5 trillion. Congratulations, passed. And Representative Richie Torres said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie, $3.5 trillion, passed. And the progressives were meeting with the White House daily to ensure they got a big enough recon, and they got it, $3.5 trillion. Passed. Representative Senator Brian Schott and Jalapal were both told by the White House to protect the recon because everything in there is checks for the American people, which are progressive checks. The White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon their own priorities. So what is a recon? What is the details of a recon? And what do you need to know going forward? Let's go over all the details. There's two parts of a recon. The first part of a recon is the recon procedural. The second part is the recon substantive. And what they have done so far is the recon procedural passed. Next step will be the passage of the recon procedural in the House. The infrastructure, roads and bridges was passed as well in the Senate. So let's first go over the separation of recon versus bipartisan. So you got that understood as well. It's important to note that the broadcast media has been getting an F in reporting. They've absolutely butchered the story, referring to the recon as sometimes 1.5 trillion and the bipartisan as 3.5 trillion. It's the reverse. Let's go over the details. First, what is recon? Recon is your money. It's also called reconciliation. It's also called the budget bill. Price tag 3.5 trillion. People quoting an article about this are AOC, Bernie. Bipartisan, also called the roads and bridges, also called infrastructure. Price tag 1.5 trillion. People quote an article about this are Republicans and Democrats, Kristen Sinema, Mitt Romney, and Ron Portman. All right. So who writes the recon? The recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. It's written in subcommittees of the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives are delegated those House subcommittees are delegated those subjects under the Constitution. For example, the House Ways and Means Subcommittee is responsible for writing stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. And when those subcommittees are done, let's say it's 10 subcommittees with 10 pages, they send them up to Chuck. They combine that, and that becomes the recon substantive bill. So where are we right now? So overnight, they pass the recon procedural bill, but recon procedural. It means basically only four things. Do you agree to have a budget of 3.5 trillion? Yes. Do you agree to split that budget of 3.5 trillion between committees of the US government? Yes. And how are we splitting the money between the committees of the US government? 138 billion for agriculture, 150 billion for nutrition, et cetera, et cetera. Done, signed. That's all they do for recon procedural. That has passed the U.S. Senate. Then it goes over to the House. Then it gets approved by the House, then to the President and signed into law. Then they come back and do the substantive recon, which is what we were just referring to. Those 100 pages that are sent up to Schumer that puts an S on it. Those 100 pages are where they decide how they're going to spend the money in those subcommittees or in those committees of the U.S. government. So let's say agriculture got 150 billion, for example. Let's just choose a number. And now they go back and figure out, okay, how are we going to spend the $150 billion? They write it up, and that becomes the recon procedure. That becomes the recon substantive bill. How do we reach this spot? By Jalapal recently wrote Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. We got the vote on the recon overnight. And boy, my prediction on this one was spot on. You know what I had said? I said they're tired. They're over 80 years old. They've been working the longest Senate session in almost a decade, 7 days a week, 16-hour days. They're not going to have much time to do a vote-a-rama on the recon. And they didn't. They spent less than about 11 hours on the recon. They have up to 50 hours to use. They were exhausted. They're like, I'm done. They folded like a lawn chair. I'm referring to the Republicans, of course. And that was it. It was, I did not expect the recon to be done, in just like, faster than a Kardashian wedding. It was, a marriage. It was done so quickly. So there you go. So that letter from Jalapal was signed by 12 House Democrats who are part of the 100-plus House Democrats, who recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in that forced stimulus package. Wow. Well, when they write this up, Purple Power, you got to push and ensure these people keep their promise and put those checks in that $3.5 trillion recon now passed. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Well, they got the price tag. They got a fortune. $3.5 trillion is an enormous sum of money. Now they can. So you got to push Purple Power and ensure these people keep their promise. Can we top that? Yes. As the president did it recently. He went overseas to have a ceremonial signature, and that ceremonial signature was followed up by the real signature a few days ago. It's the global minimum corporate tax rate. Because it's not in the recon, it makes the recon easier to write now with that 3.5 trillion. They don't have to deal with this complicated provision of law. Number one, it makes it easier to call the vote on the recon, vote on the recon, and pass the recon with the substantive recon I'm referring to. And can we top that? Yes, we can. As we go into the final 15 minutes, as we go over, now that the recon has passed the procedural step in the Senate, what's next? It's all exciting, great news. It's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. But first, if you need help with rent or utilities or food or internet, please try to get it yourself. Always try yourself first, because the success comes at hand. But if you can't, don't worry. I got your back. The volunteers got your back. Reach out to them and help you get that big money for rent, utilities, or internet. Where are they located? They're on the community page. Go down in the description of this video. Find an emoji of a house. Click that link. It'll send you over the community page. It's news.la.com/community. And I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues as Afternoons LA continues with the Recon Past. So what's next? I'll go over all the incredible details in the second half of this recording. How are you? I hope you're having a beautiful afternoon. I hope the weather is great. Thank you for joining. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a Purple Hawk. Over 200 new Hawks are joining daily because people want to get the big sums of money across the board. This is the best community and the most informed community out there. People understand the details and the financial freedom that comes to you by becoming a member. So consider becoming a member, and let's cut right into the surprising developing details of this stimulus. This stimulus is just a few days away, and this is the raise of your benefits of your SSI, SSDI, and VA, and more. This is what the president promised you during the campaign trail, then did not deliver it, then said he was going to do it during his transition papers, did not deliver it, and now it's being taken care of by those Democrats. This is fifth stimulus recon, and it will start heating up in just a few days in September. Step one, they'll reform the SSI system. Step two, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Number three, they'll start drafting this in about September, going to a vote by November. This is another recon. And then we'll likely see the benefits hit your account by approximately November is what they represent, with a new benchmark applied in December for next year's benefits. Let's go over all the details starting right now. First step, they'll raise your benefit limits up, then they'll remove the asset limits, then apply inflationary benchmark. Remove the income exclusion and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this calculates starting right now. Number one, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Step two, they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. Inflation is going to be applied in December. And what will inflation be? Transitory, says Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. What does transitory mean? It means you can have a temporary spike. How high? I'm reporting it's going to be about 5% for that temporary spike in December. Wow, that's incredible great news because that's right where they apply your benchmark. So let's do the calculation based upon that 5%. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply the benchmark in December. And if the inflation rate is 5%, then your benefits will go up an additional 5%. Then they'll remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away, and you'll be able to do a pair dance like Rob and Sandy at their wedding. No longer fear loss of benefits and have your benefits restored if they were canceled. And there you go. There will be a fifth stimulus check they represent as well, those House Ways and Means members. Meantime, if you're in the live chat and you notice people that have a hawk emoji next to their name, a purple hawk, what are you doing? You need to join right today. Purple Hawks have founded that financial independence by understanding how things work across the land. Let's go back to spring of last year. When this channel launched, I saw a lot of people elsewhere saying, what day is that second stimulus check coming in April? What day is it coming in May? And I said, why are these people doing that? You can't be dependent upon the arrival of one check from the federal government. And guess what? The second stimulus check did not come in April or May. It didn't come until January 2021. And during that time, people were waiting to be dependent upon the arrival of one item when they should have been cashing other items. So in fall of 2020, I started telling people there's a lot of other money to get there. And while you may be waiting for that $600 stimulus check, which doesn't come until January 2021, there's other sums of money to get. And Tyrone and his family got $15,000 for rent because of my videos. Daily Purple Hawks are delivered from me via the YouTube community page, a breakdown of all the big money available for you under third stimulus, second stimulus, proposed for fourth stimulus, and also for fifth stimulus. Because you want to take money on the come, cash checks, not track checks. In spring of this year, in January this year, third stimulus was passed, $1,400 stimulus check. But I told viewers I don't want you to be dependent upon or focused on the $1,400 stimulus check because it eventually will arrive, and then you'll cash it, and then you'll say, okay, I need another check. I've used that up. Can I get some more checks? And there won't be any other $1,400 stimulus checks under that stimulus package. But I said that I can get you $14,000 under the third stimulus package. Well, I didn't. I got viewers $27,000, $30,000, $18,000, $50,000. Daily, countless viewers are getting massive sums of money. What's going on here? What's going on is basically the following, that people have realized what I said in early January. I want you as a purple hawk, which is the expression I've coined, to pounce and get money first come, first serve when it launches. And most of the money is application based. And I want you to have financial independence created by these stimulus packages. The federal government looks at you and realizes maybe you have 7 bills at home you have to pay daily. You have rent, you have utilities, you have food, you have internet, you have mortgage, and then you have the roof on the house that needs repair, and the car in the driveway needs some new tires. Well, the government's not going to give you some new tires, and it's not going to fix your roof. But they'll pay for the other 5 bills. And if they pay for the other 5 bills and give you $25,000 to pay for the other 5 bills, that's $25,000 of your own money you don't have to spend over the next year. And with that money that you're freed up, financial independence, you can use that money to get the tires on the car repaired or fix the roof on the house. That is financial independence. Getting the big money that's available under these stimulus packages. So consider becoming a Purple Hawk and get that money right now. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of the final 7, starting right now with incredible great details of PASS. The recon has passed the U.S. Senate. Told you it was going to. I said deal done for the last few weeks. Now I can say pass done. Which recon is this? What is going on and all the details? First, they initially had the bipartisan vote last week. That passed. And what I had told you was Chuck Schumer envisioned that the senators were getting tired. I told you they're getting tired. I said these senators were not going to have a lot of time to do a vote-a-rama for the recon. They were absolutely wanted to go home and take a nap. They have worked, 3 weeks, 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, and they're 85 years old. They need to go take a break. And they did the vote-a-rama for 11 hours. They didn't even go anywhere close to the 50 hours of vote-a-rama. And they're like, I'm done. Just pass it already. Can I go home? And they did. $3.5 trillion passed. Incredible great news. Now let's first talk about this recon. This recon is so much bigger than the first, second, and third stimulus packages. And what makes this different also is that the prior stimulus packages, upwards of 80 to 90% of the money, was for U.S. corporations. Nearly 99% of the money in this one is for Americans, checks for you. So there's checks for all different types of walks of life. The recon procedural means that they've agreed to pass the box, the framework, the price tag of the entire stimulus package. Next step is the recon will go over to the House. Steny Hoyer immediately last night, or actually maybe early pre-dawn this morning, he is in the House. Steny Hoyer, and I told you he's going to announce that the House is put back into session. I told you as soon as the recon passes the Senate, Steny Hoyer is going to come out with an announcement. He did. He was watching this channel. He came out with an announcement saying the House is back in session a month earlier. So they're coming back, I think it's August 26th or August 27th, approximately, and they will vote on the recon to pass the recon procedural in the House. Done. So everyone's taking care of this for you. Then it goes to the president to sign it. They're going to do that recon in the House before the bipartisan. Now, what can the House Democrats do with the recon? With the recon procedural, the House Democrats can change numbers. Remember that numbers don't say the number, we just have a total number, 3.5, so they can change that. Say, oh no, 3.9 or 3.82. They can change that number. Then they can change how the number is split between these committees. Department of Nutrition has 135. No, I want to have 145. So let's grow the recon by, 10 billion. That's what they can do as well. And then if that gets modified, it goes back to the Senate and then signed by the president. Then what happens is that shortly thereafter, they start writing the actual recon legislation, the recon bill. And this is where Chuck Schumer really did not deliver on his promises. I detailed this a lot yesterday. I'll say it a little bit more today, but I don't want to belabor negativity too much longer. That Senator Schumer represented that the whole recon would be law by the August recess, and he's not delivering that. So he's only delivering the recon procedural done by the August recess. Obviously, he misguided time. He misguided the strength level of 80-year-old senators who can't work any more than Chuck Schumer thinks that they can work. And he really did not deliver on the promise and the representation that these House subcommittees were writing the recon over the last few weeks. In fact, they weren't writing anything. Not very cool whatsoever. So the representation is that they'll now start writing the recon in the subcommittees. So what have they been doing the last few months? Not very cool. But when they do, they have now guidance, not law, but guidance as to what they can give those checks for. They can modify this. It's called non-binding. And that guidance is a lot of checks for American people. So let's go over some of those checks. Free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, greener farming checks, election checks, free internet checks, lots of checks for workers, worker protection checks like collective bargaining, Medicare expansion checks, and then I just skipped pages here. Lots of checks for my workers and lots of checks for my seniors. So for my workers, lots of checks for you, independent contractors. For seniors, lots of checks for you, hearing, vision care checks, dental checks, eligibility age checks, and more. So the president has assured us that he is doing the recon and the roads and bridges at the same time. How does he say it? He basically says, I have a desk in the White House, and when you give me the two legislations to sign into law, you have to give me two. You can't give me one, or I'm not signing one. He says, if only one, as to the bipartisan, if only one comes to me, and that's the only one that comes to me, I'm not signing it. They have to come in tandem. Great news there. And he says, as to the bipartisan, don't forget the recon. I propose also the recon, and both are equally important as well. Nancy Pelosi also has your back, as does Jalapal. Nancy Pelosi confirms that she's not doing the recon unless she's not doing the bipartisan unless she has the recon as well. Well, she now has the recon, so congratulations. The recon is coming to Nancy in a few days in August. She said there won't be a bipartisan unless we have a recon bill as well. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be bipartisan unless we also have the recon passed by the U.S. Senate. Well, it's now been passed, so she got what she wanted. And Jalapal says, our caucus will not vote in favor of the bipartisan unless we also have the recon. So that's been done as well, passed. You know, it's very funny, just as a side note. I told you the fake narratives were going to heat up in the final 11th hour, and they really did. Late last night, I guess after my last recording of yesterday, one conservative publication put out an article saying, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin are going to reduce the recon by $1 trillion. I'm like, what? And the article is still on their website, even after the recon has passed exactly at 3.5 trillion. So no, you were wrong again. I don't know why they do this. You were wrong again. Kristen Sinema did not block the recon. Joe Manchin did not block the recon. I had been telling you this for literally 5 months that they were not going to block the recon. I told you that Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders had a meeting with all the Democratic senators, and Kristen Sinema and Ron and Joe Manchin had blessed and said they're voting in favor of the 3.5 trillion recon. They did. So all that fake narrative that the Republican press was trying to run out, that the recon was going to implode, failed. Also, the fake narrative that the Republicans were going to put a death grip on the recon with gazillions of amendments, also totally untrue, a false reporting, because guess what? The cards were in front of us. Everyone was just tired. They had no more energy. Yeah, they made their own effort to try to do stuff for a few hours, but after that, they were like, I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore. Let me go home. Let me go have a scotch and bourbon and go play cards. And that's what they did, I presume. And there you go. So that is the recon. So the next step is recon substantive. And during recon substantive is when they write. Well, the next step is of course recon procedural in the House, which is going to pass. I mean, that's pretty easy. The House could change the numbers a little bit, 3.5, okay, 3.67 or something like that. But then we then go into writing up the recon substance. You cannot stop pushing purple power, because when these committees now have all these massive sums of money, you have to ensure they spend the money the right way. These are checks all for the American people. But with $332 billion to urban affairs, you have to ensure they're spending the money on you the right way. $198 billion to energy, and $135 billion to nutrition, and billions and billions of more dollars across the board. You'll see these big price tags start at really the first 2 or 3 committees, and then get a little smaller at the end, because those are only 67 billion here and 22 billion there. You have to ensure they spend all that money the right way. So you have to push purple power to ensure they keep their promises to us as well. And with that, thank you for joining me on Big Afternoons broadcast. I'll have more about this on Evenings Lalate. To recap, here we go. So the recon passed as so represented. I had told you all those Democrat caucus members over the last 2 weeks had met and agreed that they were going to pass the $3.5 trillion. Done deal. Next step is recon in the House. The House will come back into session nearly a month earlier, in just a few days, in about August 26th, 27th, to reconvene and pass the recon procedural. Then they start doing the recon substantive. Chuck Schumer's representation was that the whole recon will become law by the August recess. He did not deliver that. He clearly misguided how much energy these people have, and they had no energy to do the recon by law, the total, meaning the substantive, by the August recess. He also said that the subcommittees had been writing the recon all along. Maybe they've written drafts and they're not showing us. It goes back to that whole narrative, which I talk usually about in the middle of the video, which is they don't show us what they've written, how much they've written, and what they're taking and what they're taking out. They may have already started writing stuff in these subcommittees, but his statement, or at least his reporting at the moment, Chuck Schumer, is that they're now given the dollar figures to go write the provisions. So push purple power, because here we go. Past recon, exciting, great news. And with that, join me next on Evenings Ally, coming up in about an hour and a half. Stay on this video, it'll automatically take you to overnight's crypto. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful afternoon, and I'll see you next on Evenings Ally.